now tuned in to The Money Zone.
Welcome to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. I am so excited to be with you guys on this very fall Tuesday. Many of you are probably doing like pumpkin patch activities with your families, carving pumpkins. What is that? Drinking pumpkin slice, like cutting pumpkin pie, like all sorts of family stuff in the fall. So guys, I'm so excited to talk about National Economic Education Month. And so we're going to briefly talk about the importance of National Economic Month, Education Month. And then we're going to talk about why is it important that you guys become economically knowledgeable about building generational wealth, saving money, and know a little bit about this tax stuff so you guys can better manage your business finances and your personal finances. So if you are interested in learning how being financially literate can help you build generational wealth, then I advise you guys to tune in to tonight's show. Do me one favor, head over and share the video. If you're watching us on RipRadioNetwork.com, share the video to your social media. If you're watching us on any social media platform like Facebook or Twitter or any other platform, share the video, hashtag The Money Zone, and let's talk about. So guys, in tonight's show, we're going to talk about the benefits of hiring your child, how to use your taxes to build generational wealth, and then we're going to talk about what's the next point. What should you do once you have this newfound knowledge? How should you be able to take? What are your action steps? What steps you need to take? Okay, so share the video, get your pen and your paper, and I will be right back. Hey guys, welcome to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. And if you are just tuning in, we are talking about National Economic Education Month, guys. And I know you're probably like, Folasade, what is that, girl? I haven't heard of it. So, guys, what I'm about to do is share my screen so we can both become very familiar because it's very new, guys. You know, every month, I don't know if you guys even know this, but every month there's always a new something, right? A new day, a new, like the other day was National Boss Day and all of that. I didn't even know it, guys. So this month is National Economic Education Month, right? This is pretty fairly new. But if you guys didn't know, and this is a business tip for all of you, you can create your own national holiday. So if you didn't know, you can submit your own national holiday. That doesn't mean that they're going to approve it, but you can. That's kind of off topic, right? Okay, but the National Economic Education Month is basically in October, guys, okay? And it marks, this is the first ever National Economic Education Month, a series of activities to focus attention on helping kindergarten through 12th graders, teachers, and their students understand the importance of economics. They have abundant resources to help teachers and students improve their economic fitness. But since in this particular site, this is the Council of what, Forcon, they're basically have a hub where teachers, and if you're in elementary school up until high school, you could come right to this site and one, donate, as you can clearly see, but also download some of the resources that they have. Okay. And it's very important that we actually do become um, economically sound. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to shift that to say financially literate because it's one and the same, honestly. And when you say economics, let's really be honest, the average person don't even know what we mean by economics. Um, the system don't even understand economics. So it's National Finance Education Month, basically. But the beauty of it, guys, is that financial literacy starts at a very, very, very young age. Okay, at a very young age. And I'm not saying that you have to follow the norm or follow those means or follow anyone's prescribed plan, but you want to expose your children early on to saving, building wealth, money concepts, and teaching them about financial literacy at a very young age, because their actions early on can kind of predict their actions later on. And they always say most kids, they grow up really, really poor, never really had anything. And I'm the product of that environment. And I did the exact same thing, right? Didn't have a pot to piss in. When I finally got a little bit of coins, you know, I went nuts, right? Shopping, extravagance, luxury, everything, right? I went nuts years ago before I started to really build my business. So, but if I knew, well, I knew, but because I couldn't refrain from it, right? And I, let's really be honest, I knew about financial literacy, but it wasn't ingrained in my lifestyle. It wasn't ingrained in my mom's parenting or my dad's parenting. So it really wasn't ingrained, even with me growing up and wanting to always be an accountant. So long story short, I ended up overspending and like having bad financial habits when I went to college. Like I was a label whore. I liked all of the designer and everything. And it wasn't like I couldn't afford it, but I really wasn't in the position to buy. I didn't have a house, didn't have nothing, right? So why would I invest into name brand goods? Lack of economic education, right? So this month is dedicated to teaching your children, you, the teachers, and the community on how to manage your money. So if you are a business owner, you have it twofold, okay? As a business owner, you have to learn how to manage your personal finances, and you also have to learn how to manage your business finances. And they're totally separate. They're supposed to be. Don't be commingling anything, right? They're supposed to be totally separate, but your personal financial habits will roll right on over to your business financial habits. So starting your children young on saving and understanding the concept of money. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you, as a mother of a 9-year-old, it has been extremely challenging to teach Bryn the concept of money. Whereas though not she know how to spend it, she know how to save it, but when it comes down to the hourly rates and how I have to explain to her how jobs and then the difference between when I work for myself, and it's a lot. So I advise you guys to just start extremely small, very minimum, and just have fun with it. So if I were you guys, I would grab my pen and my paper so you can go ahead on and take notes, because the majority of the show I may be dropping a lot of gems, because we're going to talk about why hiring your child, you need to do that to build generational wealth. We're going to talk about you taking advantage of different and other tax strategies and everything. So I advise you guys to grab your pen and your paper. Okay, so we're in National Economic Education Month. And when you think about the economics of things, everyone is confused. Even economists are perplexed. The system Biden administration, they're perplexed. I used to be able to keep up with economics. I'm even perplexed. And the reason being is because everything economically, guys, intertwine. The amount of money you make at your 9 to 5, the amount of money that you make in your business determines how much taxes you'll pay, determines what credit you will qualify for. Your income also determines what type of credit, okay, you will qualify for, your debt to ratio, income, and everything else. So the long story short, the system is fully intertwined. And if you lack financial literacy, you're going to be farther than where I am, because there's a difference between, and so most of you can learn this. There's a difference between an accountant and a finance major. Okay, a finance major knows about stocks and things like that. That's what they study, statistics and financial analysis more so. And accountants, we on practicality. We formulate the data for them to analyze, okay? And we do know how to analyze it, but not like most finance professionals. They connect the dots. They're supposed to know economics a little bit more than me. And so why am I bringing all of this up? Where we are right now in the system, even you as a regular business person, you have to know a little bit about everything. Because prime example, if you go out and mismanage a personal credit card, it can prevent you from being a guarantor on a business loan for you to scale your company. So if you don't have the knowledge that you need to manage the credit card and to implement positive financial habits, then what happens? You're going to end up ruining things for when it's time for you to utilize your personal credit to scale and get a loan, or to uh, buy a building, or to buy a book of business. You're not going to be in a position because you mismanaged that credit card. The credit card took your credit score down by 100 points. And that's the purpose of National Economic Education Month, is to teach us those little basics like credit. Okay. So that's one thing. So one thing you guys want to understand too is that your credit also connects to your taxes. So let's say, for example, you get a charge off, right? Or you settle, right? If the amount exceeds $600, right, you're going to receive a 1099-C, a 1099-C, which is cancellation of debt. So that means your personal credit behavior now has rolled over to your taxes. But if you were financially literate, you probably would have been able to negotiate the settlement a bit lower so it can fall within the threshold and they don't have to issue you a 1099. Or you probably wouldn't have had the charge off and been able to better manage. So this is why these type of months and these type of initiatives, guys, really warrants the backings, because as an African American woman, because we are starting so far behind and don't have a stepping stool to get started, right? We need to know this stuff. We need to know how to use our credit to build. And the average client of mine, when they first come work with me, I don't want to get no loans for Folasade. I don't want nobody's money. I don't want to do anything, nothing. After about a year working with me, they didn't already got a loan. Look, we're working past that. I've already shifted their mindset on how to use other people's money and the pros and cons behind it and things like that. So you as a business owner, you as a mom or dad, you have to now understand that everything that you made a mistake on, it's really up to us to kind of pre-warn our children, especially when it comes down to our finances. So don't be afraid to be transparent and say, I screwed up. I've been transparent about my financial problems on live for years. Okay. I didn't start off with the salary coming from a Fortune 500 or retirement account or a 401k plan with money set to the side. I started from bare bone with nothing. So when you're starting from nothing, you're going to go through some financial woes. And so don't be embarrassed on any of your financial mistakes, because you want to use that to educate your child and your community on what they should do. So prime example, most of us, when we first, and I'm going to take responsibility here, I did it. I was in college, right? Wasn't an accountant then, right? Got that little credit card, and guess what? They gave me a little $1,000 limit, y'all. I think I did good the first time. I think I did 300. Yep, this one I did. I did 300. Broke child, broke college student. Well, irresponsible college student. Let me be honest. Irresponsible college student. Did not pay the whole $300 back. No. What I did was made the minimum payment. Not good, right? Okay. The second mistake I did was, instead of paying it off, the balance rolled over. I only made the minimum payment, which was the insurance, right? I ended up using a card again. So my utilization rate went up, right? Mistake again. So if we become financially literate, guys, we can prevent our children from making mistakes, our family and our community. And it's really up to us to, be honest. But we're in a society now, nobody want to be transparent about anything. Nobody want to be honest. So this is why they have to create initiatives like the Economic Education Month, so that they can put it out on the forefront, and you don't have to wait until the kids' parents or until the school or until it's too late, for you to become financially literate and economically knowledgeable. Okay. So one, like I said, talk with your children early on. One of the first lessons that I did is, and I'm working on that now, which we're kind of past that, is the savings part. Okay, the savings part. One thing I do notice about a lot of kids, they're spending their money on that Roblox. They're spending money on like Amazon, buying their little toys and stuff, and we don't realize as parents that we're creating bad habits. Okay, we're creating very, very much bad habits. Okay, so I don't do none of the Roblox. I think I ordered maybe twice in 2 years, but outside of that, no. So what I focused on is savings. Okay. So that was the first thing. So if your child is young, every time they get money, just teach them to go put in their bank. Don't get their money and pocket it and put it in your bank like most people do, right? No, you go and teach them to go put in their bank. And then when they want to spend it or when they want to do something, you talk to them about it. Well, do you really want to spend your money on that where it's not going to last? Like, teach them the value of the items that they're tempted to purchase, right? And then eventually they'll start to be so decisive about everything, guys, and they'll be like, "Oh nah, I don't want no chips. I'm not spending my money. I'm not." And that don't mean you buy it either, mom. Okay, and see, that's the mistake that we're doing. We're trying to teach them how to save and everything, but then we go and buy everything. So it defeats the example, it defeats the message. Okay, So lesson number 1, teach your kids very young. And that's why National Economic Education Month is so important, because it's setting that platform and that space for us to open up with our children. So just open up about your financial problems, make fun, and just start exactly where you are. And I started with the savings. And so now I just told Bran, I'm going to now go open up her bank account. Don't shoot me under the foot. No, Bran do not have a bank account. You know why? Because the debit card. And a lot of these kids are already taking debit cards. They're overspending and all of that stuff. And right now, the first habit is getting used to having money and not spending it. So now the next step I'm going to do is open up the bank account, and then let's see. I'll let y'all know an update on that one. Okay. So lesson number 1, start with your kids, start young, start where they are. And if they're very young, just start saving. Don't take their money, okay? And so, guys, what we're going to do is now shift. So now we just talked about what you can do to get your kids engaged, but what you have to do as a mom and dad, you have to also become aware of things. And I'm not talking about just the crooked things like the CPNs and, all of the fraudulent stuff. I'm talking about like the real nitty gritty, just the basics of finance. And it's so interesting. Let me see. Do I have it? One second, y'all. Let me see if I have this book. It might be right here. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is a very, very, very good book. It's by Brett. Okay. Sumberg, Juris Doctorate. Okay. Do not knock me. Everything Kids Money Book. Everything Kids Money Book. So this is a good book to just sit down with your kids and go through it. It has like a little bit of games. The only thing that I did find with books like this, it is deep. It talked about the Federal Reserve. It talked about debits and it talked about your debit card and your credit card and OPM and other people's money. So I do advise you guys to get the book. You may have to make it like a little family thing when you read it to them so they won't get lost, because it's a lot. Like I was wondering, why would they make a kid's book like this? You see? But it's very informative. And I'm going to be honest with you. I even learned quite a bit of things. So it goes talking about from bartering. So it's teaching them how to use skill sets and things like that to get what they want and to not trade money all the time. What else? To talk about the stock market. It talks about almost everything, spending. And I'm going to have my team put this in my Amazon. I didn't even think about that. It talks about savings and everything. So this is a good book. The Everything Kids Money Book, the 2nd edition. Okay. So guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a quick little break, guys. I advise you guys to grab your pen and your paper, because what I did, I talked about the kids in the first session. So now I'm going to talk about the things that you can do. Because, they get their own money for their birthdays and things like that. That's what we want to start with with them. Now, with you as a mom and dad, as a business owner, or as a 9-to-5er, right? There are things that you can do and a lot of strategies that you guys can implement to build generational wealth. And we're going to also incorporate the importance of Economic Education Month throughout it. So guys, do me one favor, grab your pen and your paper and join my mailing list. Go to bit.ly/get notified TMZ. bit.ly/get notified TMZ. Guys, we'll be right back. So your refund can still be high. Or if it's not the case, your refund would definitely be lower. So that's really a few of the reasons why many of you are going to be shocked, thrown back, taken aback, beat up, disturbed, might be crying in your feelings because your tax refunds are much lower than what you anticipated. Your business is right on that piece of paper that I can maximize, but guess what? Many of you guys took shortcuts in your business. You've been taking shortcuts for years. So you're out of luck right now. You're looking at that pile of paper and you like, Yo, you serious, Folasade? Yes, I'm serious. And I'm very serious because right now your bookkeeping is what's going to either catapult your business or be a detriment to your business. And your lack of it is definitely a detriment, especially in the situation that we're in right now, where we all need to be maximizing our deductions and paying as little bit of taxes as we legally could so we can sustain in our businesses and be able to afford our lifestyles. But if you are not doing your bookkeeping, and if you're not keeping proper records, then I guarantee you are not paying the right amount of taxes that you're supposed to pay, or you're not getting the right amount of refund that you are supposed to be getting. So if you are a business owner, the way for you to protect your wealth, your income right now is by making sure you cross your T's and dot your I's and get your bookkeeping in order and stop playing games like you out here not trying to build a successful business. Only people that don't want to be successful don't have an accountant. Only people that don't want to be successful don't do their bookkeeping. And right now, your small business is maybe somebody else's blessing if you were to get your stuff in order. So you need your bookkeeping to make sure that every dollar you spend in your business is written off. Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. Guys, if you are just tuning in, on the first segment, we talked about how to incorporate financial literacy into your lifestyle and how most individuals, even the people that discuss economics every day, don't really understand the system and what we can do just to get started. So that's basically what we talked about at the beginning of the show today. And now we're going to shift and we're going to talk about what you can do as a parent with your business or your 9 to 5 to build generational wealth and to become economically free and more financially sound. Okay, so I ask you guys to grab your pen and your paper. And if you have not subscribed to our mailing list yet, go to bit.ly/TMZ, get notified so you can know what upcoming guests we're having, what topics that we're going to discuss. You can once you're on the mailing list, you can email me any questions and things that you want me to ask guests or answer throughout the show. So join my mailing list so you can be in the know and don't miss out on anything. Okay. 2021 is ending, and there are a lot of millionaires. There are a lot of thousandaires. There are a lot of broke folks, rich folks. It's just so much going on, right? And each and every one of us, regardless of where you are in the phase of your life, we can take certain steps to start building generational wealth. And However, once we decide that we want to take the necessary steps to build generational wealth, it requires three things: consistency, okay, discipline, and disposable income. Okay, you cannot build generational wealth without those three. And the reason being is because, let's say, oh, you got a lot of money and you put 50,000 in, right? And you don't do enough research to become economically sound, and you never took the time to discipline yourself to figure out what's the best product or instrument to put the 50,000 in. So guess what? It sits there in a low interest bearing account. By the time your kids retire, they have about 75,000. But a mom that was more disciplined, or dad that was more disciplined and wanted to learn more and was more and struck curiosity, they probably would have researched a different instrument, put that same $50,000 within the same time span, and their child would end up with $150,000 in comparison to your child as with the $75,000. So why am I saying that? I'm saying all of that is to let you know that you are only as good as the knowledge that you acquire. So right now, the first knowledge that you guys need to acquire is the knowledge to bring down your taxable income. Okay? So most people pay more money in taxes than they funnel in their household. Okay? So let's take the mortgage out, right? Let's take all the major bills out. The average person, if they making six figures, pay about $25,000. Let's say if you make about $105,000, right? You may pay on average $20,000 in taxes. The average mom may not even spend that much per year just on the family, or just able to save that, right? So this is why, number one, learning a little bit about taxes will help you guys build generational wealth. And this is why taxes is part of the economic system. And do you guys know that our system, the US system, is economically reliant on your taxes? So the more taxes you pay, the happier the government is. But the less taxes you pay, the happier your family is, the more that you can do. So one thing I advise all of you guys to do is to, number one, learn a little bit more about taxes. If you don't have the time to learn a little bit more, hire an accountant that knows some stuff like myself, right? Don't want to work with me, find somebody else. But hire an accountant. If you know you don't have time to research, which many of you shouldn't, because you should stay in your lane and do what you're great at, right? Hire an accountant so we can think for you with the tax savings. So this year alone, so Trump, my team didn't send you my banner. This year alone, we're at about $27 million. I'm starting to actually physically count it now. So this year alone, I'm actually frustrated. It was supposed to be right at the bottom how much money I had saved in taxes. So this year alone, we're at about $2 to $3 million in tax savings. So that 2 to 3 million be divided between my clients, they're able to put that money back into their family. So the less money you pay in taxes, the more you can max out your 401k or your TSP or your Roth IRA. But if you're paying more in taxes because you never got the tax strategy from myself or never hired an accountant, so you're always paying more taxes, you have less money to invest into your retirement. That's number one. Remember, generational wealth is not the money that you have now. It is the money that you're able to carry over and transfer to your lineage. Okay? So it's not about you having millions. It's about you carrying that millions over to your lineage, right? To your dependents and to their dependents and your grandchildren and your great-great. That's generational wealth, okay? So then once you are knowledgeable about the tax strategies, so number one strategy that all of you should be doing if you have a business is hiring your child. And I mean, do it legally, right? Last year, I taught the class on how to hire your child. I was going to teach it again I ain't even want to teach it again. Okay. But because it's already on replay, the information didn't change, right? But that actually reduces your taxable income. Number one benefit of hiring your child, it allows you to pay less taxes because it reduces your taxable income. But it also allows your child to now invest into their own retirement account. Okay? Not just their custodial one under the moms. Now they have legal earned income and they qualify just like me and you to open up their own retirement account simply because you hired your child legally. So just off the hire your child strategy, guys, you're able to reduce your taxable income, pay less, pay your child. They're able to invest into their retirement account, but also pay them so you won't have to be paying for everything, right? So you guys want to know different tax strategies, okay? So you can now build generational wealth a lot faster, okay? So that's number one. You want to hire your child and help them do that. But then if you are not a business owner, right, and you are a employee, right? So you have to kind of play tricks on yourself. Because as an employee, you don't have limitless income, right? So you have to be very strategic. So the first thing that I advise all of my 9 to 5ers to do, if you're really not the type of person that want to own a business, and that's fine with me, everybody in my belief don't have to be business owners, right? You don't have to be a business owner to be a millionaire, y'all. That's not true. It's a lot of people that are retiring from companies. They have a stock in companies. They're retiring and they're set. You do not have to have a business, but you have to have those 3 things that I discussed: discipline, consistency, and disposable income. Okay. So if you are a 9 to 5er and you don't want to build a business, right? Then you now need to get your income, your expenses. And I know this is going to sound very aggressive, but this is the only way, because remember, your income is still capped. Okay. It's not like me as a business owner, we can make $300,000 in this month, you know what I'm saying? Or 5.8 million in 1 year. Your situation as a 9 to 5 is not like that. So we have to be realistic. So you have to reduce your expenses to the bare minimum, okay? And it starts young, actually. Really, most people that are 9 to 5ers that are extremely successful, they started around 27, 30, even maybe 37, even to 40. You'll be fine. Even if you start at 50, you can be a little aggressive too. But typical age, we should have started a little bit longer, we'll have more money, right? But let's say we're starting where we are. So the first thing you need to do is know how much is your disposable income. That means after you pay all of your bills, what is left over? Is it 20,000 left over, 2,000 left over, $500 left over? Whatever is left over after, all of your bills. I'm talking about even your nails, your hair, all of it. Now, if your hair expenses, nails, and all of that stuff is too extravagant, and it's too costly, then I would advise you to cut back for a certain period of time. If you don't know my story, I cut back on everything for literally almost 10 years. Y'all, I'm just starting to buy myself. Last year, I just started to buy myself something last year. Outside of that, I was not buying no bags, was doing no shopping, wasn't doing no expensive wigs, traveling, nothing. I was disciplined. So it's going to require you to go into that one. So you need to be spiritually in tune to be able to even discipline yourself like that. So number one, get the discipline that you need. Number two, get your budget together so you can figure out what your disposable income is. Once you figure out what your disposable income is, then you need to assign it, whether it's $500 or not. If it's $500, now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't advise you on stock. So don't say this is stock advice, but I'm going to give you my opinion. Okay? If you only have $500, right? That can make and break you, but if you're a believer, you'll get it back, right? So I will automatically put $50 of that money into a normal savings. Your regular Federal Credit Union, your regular bank. Just 50. Let's say if it's 500. So that's what, 5%, 10%? That's 10%. Put 10% in your regular savings. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to invest 10% of that money as well. So I'm going to invest it into stocks, into Bitcoin, whatever you've been seeing your eye on and you've been doing a little bit of research, 10%. Take that $50 and invest that. So what you're actually doing, you're doing multiple things. You are saving, okay? Because remember, generational wealth, have some cash. Don't be fooled. Don't. People are playing. Y'all talking about the rich don't have cash. They got cash. That's how they lending the government all this money. Okay, they have money. That's how they lending the banks money. That's how they're becoming venture capitalists and angel investors. They have money. They have cash. So you want, but you just don't want too much. You don't want to hoard it where it's not working for you, right? So you're going to accumulate a little bit of savings. So you're going to you're going to be cash. Okay. Simultaneously, you are going to now put that money into an instrument, a stock or bond, so it can appreciate in value. Okay. So as the stock market grows or as the Bitcoin grows, that will end up going up. So you're doing two things simultaneously. The third thing you want to actually do now is take some of that money and put it into a skill. Even as an employee, remember there are project management licenses. There are certain certifications that you guys can acquire that will boost your income up. Go and invest into those courses and then go and renegotiate your salary. Okay. So I would take, let's say you got the 500, let's say it's a $50 course, for this month that you wanted to go ahead on and take that, I'm not saying just go to school, y'all. That's not what I'm condoning. I'm not saying go get a college degree. I'm not condoning that. I'm asking you to get a certification that allows you to scale up in the industry or at least command a higher pay. And you guys know what that is in your industry. Okay. So you don't do that every month either. You do that once every quarter or once every year, okay? Depending on the industry you're in and where you are. If you're at the bare bottom, then you need a lot of certifications, okay? But if you're in mid-level, you just need maybe that PMP or something like that. So make your investments, get your recommendations and things like that. The fourth thing, so we already spent 50, that's 100. We already spent the 150. That's just, we're doing 10%, 10%. You see where I'm going, right? So if your money is 2,000, just replicate the process. If you have 5,000 disposable income, replicate the process, okay? So we've already saved, we've already invested, and we've already reinvested into ourselves, our brain, and our knowledge, right? The next thing you want to do is see what debt you have and start becoming debt-free. Most people that are extremely rich are debt-free in terms of frivolous debt, okay? Most of them and the houses that they're not playing with are loan-free, okay? And the reason being is because, like right now, my house didn't appreciate in value. So right now I have hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in equity in there. So if I was to pay down more of my principal, right? When I go to sell, I'll be able to have more money at the closing. The more loan I have, the less money at closing. Okay, so that means if you wanted to pull the money out from one house, it's less money. If you wanted to use that to reinvest, it's less money. So I will also pay that down. Pay a little bit of debt down, but you want to be strategic. So guys, everything I'm just telling you, you want to consult with your financial advisor because every plan is different, but I'm just giving you the basics of what you can do from a 9-to-5 standpoint, but it comes aligned with a budget and a plan and set goals. You can't just come up with this thinking that you're going to put away 400, put away 500. What I see when people do that without a plan, they go back and get the 300, go back and get the 400, go back and get the 600. And the reason why I know this is because, guys, this is what I do on a regular basis, but I've always done, I did that myself. So everything that I talk to you guys about, I have almost experienced on my own, getting me to where I am now. And now I'm advising my clients on how to do their stuff better and don't make the mistakes that I make. So that's what I would do, guys, if I had a 9-to-5 and I wanted to build generational wealth. Those are the steps. So if you guys did not watch the video, watch the replay, it will be on ripradionetwork.com and all of the places where podcasts are hosted. You can check out the Money Zone so you can catch the replay for tonight's video. Because if you didn't have your pen or paper, I know it was probably a lot. So we have like maybe 10, not even 10 minutes, and I have to shift over back to the business. Okay. So from a business standpoint, the way that you can actually build generational wealth, and so many people don't tell you this, you can build your business to the point where it will be self-sufficient, be a well-oiled machine, and you can hit the Nike, the all of the major companies, right? Whereas though once the owner passed away, it lives on. So you can build your business. And it doesn't have to reach Nike's capacity. Don't think, oh, Nike's so big, Folasade. No, I'm not saying that you have to get to Nike $1 billion. What I'm saying is that with your $1 million company, you can pass that over to your child as well. You can make that $1 million company live on without you. So you guys want to write this down. You want to start to discuss with your financial advisor a succession plan. Okay? You want to start talking with them about a succession plan. But this conversation of a succession plan is not for the businesses that don't have their stuff in order, guys. A succession plan, you need financials. Succession plans, you need accountants. Succession plans, you need to have your shit in order. So if you don't have processes, if you don't have systems, if you don't have none of that stuff, we're not talking about succession plans. We need to go back and build a proven concept. But from a business standpoint, in general, right, you want to have a succession plan in place. Okay. So that says within XYZ years, the business will either retain in my family, I will sell it, or I'm going to, get another CEO, like a whole map. And what direction will be most profitable? You make a decision there, and then you map it out as you're building the business. So many of you need to start having your mind frame. When I retire, what options do I have? But let's be honest, if you want someone to buy your business, right, you have to know the numbers. You cannot have people attempting to buy a business you don't know shit about, y'all. You have to know the numbers, and you have to have processes and systems. Many of you are building these businesses without accountants like me, without processes, without systems, without policies, without contracts, and you're just all over the place. If selling your business is part of your succession plan, you need to go and develop processes and systems in place. And these are the things that you guys gradually need to start to do. And it's all congruent or contingent on what your plans are for you to build generational wealth, because you can sell your business for 20 million if you can get it to 10 million in revenue and have solid processes. If you have a solid business and you're making $1 million, right, you can sell it for 1.5 or 2 million. You see what I'm saying? They're selling it for 50% over ads. 50% over revenue, or 100% over revenue, depending on the potential. So build a profitable business with systems, processes, okay, contracts, policies, all right? And then you'll be able to sell it. The second way for you as a business owner to do this is to also do what I just said, but you take a different approach and you start to now get investors. So that means you get people to invest into your vision. So they buy a portion of the worth of your stock, right? And they say, okay, well, here is $1,000. I want to own 50 shares. Do you guys know that as a small business owner, you can do that too? You can start as an Inc. and build to a corporation and have stocks. And then eventually y'all come together, put your board of directors, and then you guys hire a CEO, and then you guys work together depending on, voting rights and, everything else. But you guys have to have that plan first as a business owner. Okay. You have to know what is the ultimate, and your plan is not the same as mine. My income goals is not the same as yours. Okay. And you have to be realistic too, because we're in unstable times right now. It's a lot of uncertainty. So all we can do is focus on what we have now, push to make more, right? And save, diversify. Oh, and it was one thing that I missed off the for the kids. Oh no, this is for my 9-to-5ers. When instead of you guys getting your refunds every year, right? One strategic way is to get savings bonds. IRS get U.S. savings bonds, state savings bonds. So if your refund is $1,000, you make 6 figures. You know you don't need that money. You know you might just buy a bag, or you and your girl might throw it up at the club or something, right? You're gonna buy an outfit. Buy your children's savings bonds, okay? So, and another way that I've started to use that, like before I even get it, I just go ahead and invest it. I just put it right into my TD account. And just even if you don't buy any stocks or nothing like that at the moment, at least it's sitting in your TD account for you to be able to start the process. Okay. But my business owners, you got to tighten it up. And you want to, all of us have life insurance. Life insurance is very important in building generational wealth. And that is part of this economic education month. Life insurance is actually a necessity, guys. Okay. It's not a luxury. The moment you get life insurance, and if you've trained your children right and taught them about financial literacy, if you were to die and leave them money, they will be able to have money for the next generation. But if you leave them with millions of dollars, but you don't teach them financial literacy and you don't teach them how to manage money, it will never be generational wealth. And so, guys, I have to get ready to close out. We have 2 minutes left, but I just want to let you guys know that I don't care if you leave your kids $20 million. If you don't teach them how to, who said it? Somebody said that 20 million or 10 million can be snorted up in a few years. So that means it's not enough to build generational wealth. To build generational wealth, a bad crack habit shouldn't destroy it. Okay? A bad crack habit cannot destroy generational wealth. And to build generational wealth, you have to have hustle, discipline, consistency, command your worth, save, invest, and still enjoy life, guys. I'm your girl, Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. I hope you enjoyed tonight's discussion. We talked about a little about everything, kind of sporadic, but I wanted to kind of connect the dots between your 9-to-5, my business owners, and your kids, and what we can do to build generational wealth for tomorrow. Because as Whitney used to say, they are the future, right? So the way these kids, y'all, we need to make sure they got some money before we go, because I don't know if they're going to be able to handle life, y'all. Mine might be okay, but the way I'm seeing society, y'all, we got to work so they can have some money, y'all. But no, fun and games, guys. Join my mailing list, bit.ly/TMZ, get notified so you can know when we're having guests and what topics, and you can send me questions and things like that. But then, guys, don't worry. Allow saving to be fun and splurge sometimes. Okay? Good night, guys. Love you. Bye-bye. Get notified and look out for what we have coming out in store